Alright guys, so we talked about the parts of a circle live in class. Now I'm going to show you a video on pi, and you're going to be able to try a few examples. So pi is the most famous ratio. If we draw up a circle, this is a protractor, a 360-degree protractor, so it's going to allow me to draw a circle a full 360 degrees. And you know the parts of the circle. You know a radius is halfway across. You know diameter is all the way across. And then circumference is the distance around. Pi, a very famous number, and it's a ratio. Pi is the ratio of circumference to diameter. And pi has a symbol when it's used in math, and that is the pi symbol. So when you see that, that's what it stands for. So pi is a ratio of circumference to diameter. It's a comparison of those two numbers. So circumference is the distance around a circle, and here is the famous ratio. One circumference is proportional to 3.14 diameters. And 3.14 is rounded. Pi is actually 3.141592653, and it goes on and on and on. So when we're working with it, especially in junior high, middle school math, we round it off to 3.14. That's going to be good enough. So when you see this pi symbol, you can normally plug in a 3.14 instead of it. So let's take a look at what that actually means on this circle that we've got. I'm going to draw a radius, and I'm going to say that that radius is 5 inches. If the radius is 5 inches, what would be the diameter? So look back at your notes. What's the comparison between a radius and a diameter? A radius is halfway across the circle, and a diameter is totally all the way across. So it's twice as long. So if the radius is 5, the diameter is 10. Why do we need that? Because it's going to be needed for our formula. I want to mess up my circle. Okay, so we have a radius of 5 inches. And here's the formula to find circumference. It works every time. Circumference equals pi times diameter. So the circumference, the distance around a circle, is pi, 3.14, times the diameter. The diameter of the circle is 10. So therefore the circumference, and you can use your calculator, would be 31.4 inches. We don't have to get out a tape measure. We don't have to measure around. We have a mathematical formula that tells us the distance around here is 31.4 inches. So let's put one up there for you to try. Alright, so now I've given you guys two circles, and you're going to try to find the circumference of both. This is number 2, and this is number 3. So I'm going to help you get set up, and then remember to hit pause and try this out. So circumference, distance around, is always pi times diameter. Same thing for this circle. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Now be careful, because sometimes they'll give you the radius instead of the diameter. So try to find the distance around these circles, hit pause, and then hit play, and we'll work through them together. We'll have one final question. Alright, so for number 2, we want the circumference, we want the distance around, so we're going to do pi 3.14 times, and on this one they did give us the diameter. They gave us the distance all the way across the circle, so we just plug in 14. And 3.14 times 14 is going to give us 43.96 inches around the circle. The third one over here, we were not given a diameter, we were given a radius. So circumference equals pi 3.14 times the radius is 3, which means the diameter would be all the way across. The diameter would be 6. So 3.14 times 6 is going to give us our circumference of 18.84 inches is the distance around that circle. Now, one more thing you might see would be a question like this. They may give you a half a circle and ask you to find the distance around it. Think about how you would do that for a second. So if they tell you that this half a circle has a diameter, you have to imagine the other half of the circle being there. It's not actually there. But if that diameter was 20 inches, then what would be the distance around half the circle? How would we go about doing that? Same formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter. You know that pi is 3.14. We can see that our diameter is 20. So if we multiply that out, 3.14 times 20 is going to be 62.8. Circumference equals 62.8 inches. But we don't want the full circumference, we only want half. Okay, we only want the distance around half of this circle. I probably should change the color because I highlighted the diameter. We're just looking at this. What is this distance? And so it's obviously half of what the full circumference would be. So all we have to do is take 62.8 divided by 2. And so our circumference of half of the circle would be 31.4 inches.